Tell me what sets this movie apart from other romantic comedies, in your opinion?
I think it starts with a very original story. I don't think people have seen this kind of movie before. This movie really begins with the sex, and then it has two people fall in love, which is kind of the backwards way that most of these things are done. And because it does that, it sort of takes out that traditional mechanical plot device that's used. And because of that, there's this really original story that asks the question, can these friends be sex friends?
So, I mean, in this film, obviously, they realize that after a while they fall in love. But do you think that I mean, it's actually possible that two adults have only like a physical relationship and it might work fine and not get involved not getting feelings involved?
Well, I think that it's, you know, in this particular case, it's not just a sexual relationship. There's also a friendship that connects to it. And I think that any friendship that you have, there's some feelings involved. And really these kind of rules that they place around it are to help keep themselves from getting hurt. And so I think this kind of relationship could work for a little while, but I think eventually you have to decide whether or not you're committed.
And when you read the script, could you relate with some aspects of your character, or?
Well, I think the one thing that I could definitely relate to was coming off of a bad breakup, where you really don't want to be in a relationship. And I know that I've sort of been there for myself before.
What do you think nowadays people are so, I mean, they have such a hard time committing to a serious relationship, and they rather have casual sex with people over and over instead of being in a steady relationship? I'm talking in general, obviously.
Right.
Why do you think that's?
I don't know. You know, I think that there's probably a lot of contributing factors. I think one of the things is you know, technology in some ways speeds things up, and so I think the courting process with people is becoming much quicker. You know, when you think about like Google, for example, right, or Facebook. It used to be that you met someone and everything that you learned about them, you would have to learn from their friends, their family, or them telling you themselves. Now, as soon as we meet someone and we go home, the first thing people do is they look them up on Facebook, they look them up on Google, they look them up on it, and so you can find out all this detail around like what's their job, what do they do, who are their friends, where have they been on vacation, so you're finding out a ton of information about someone right away, really fast. And so I think what's happening is instead of that process sort of slowly unfolding between two people, where you have a little bit more control over, you know what, maybe they won't like this friend, so I'm not going to introduce them right away, or maybe they wouldn't like this fact about me, I'm not going to. I think all this information's on the table, and so people, you know, want to sort of slow play the interpersonal relationship in a slightly more casual way.